I was trying, I don't know. We haven't figured out how to do this so that I can see the live chat. If you forgot who I am, I'm Jenny. I'm from Alive and Thriving Healthcare. I am a nurse practitioner, and this is a whole different way of doing health class. And this is Teen Talk. It is specifically for teens. I will take live questions if I can see them. If you can't get your question or I don't see it, email teentalk@aliveandthrivinghealthcare.com. I will answer you personally, but I will also maybe use it in another segment that we do, and because we haven't really quite figured that out. Also, didn't advertise this because the way we post to social media has been down for a couple of weeks. So I haven't been able to do that. So if you see this, I guess you're meant to be here, as they say. And again, it's for teens. If you are a young adult, middle-aged adult, older adult, you can watch, but please leave the space open for teens and let them ask their questions, and let me answer their questions. This is good information for adults. If you're parenting teens, if you're a teacher, new teachers, and you're not really sure what's going to be coming your way, I hope to give you a lot of good information that you can use. But if you need any clarification, again, you can email. I'll answer you too. But for now, if you have any questions, let's leave the space for the teens. So I moved my microphone, and hopefully you won't hear me swallow every time I drink some water. But tonight we're doing stress. When it feels like too much stress, school, and all the things as a teenager. And I'm excited about this a little bit because I remember sitting in my senior year, sitting in Psychology 101 and talking about life stressors. And I remember thinking always in my mind that stress was a bad thing, but actually stress can be a good thing. Can still have poor effects on your body, but stress can happen, like it can actually be a good thing. You could be going through something happy and it be stressful, or going through something not great, also be stressful. And I remember doing the scale and thinking there was a scale. I remember this in the textbook. I have a very visual memory. I can picture it still. It's almost photographic. I can still picture it in the textbook and the top 10 stressors, and me not thinking that it really pertained to me. And I could not remember what that scale was called, but I remember it being a thing. So I did look that up for you, and that's the Holmes-Rahe or Raw stress scale, or the social adjustment rating scale. And it's been around since 1967, and it's so solid that it really has not changed much. So what are the main stressors according to that? Death of a spouse, like as a 17-year-old sitting in class, that had nothing to do with me. Divorce, marital separation, being incarcerated, death of a close family member, major personal injury or illness, marriage, being fired or laid off, or financial problems, marital reconciliation, retirement. So there's some good things in there. So why is that so stressful? And what does that mean to us? Like, what happens to our body, and how do we react, and do we know we're actually reacting to stress, and why does it matter for a teenager? And another reason I like this topic so much is that I feel in the depths of my soul that teenagers are really, really cool, and your brains are so creative, and you're learning so much. And I think that sometimes teens and young people in general get kind of pushed to the side of, what do you have to be stressed about? Oh, it's no big deal. Just think happy thoughts. Oh, you're fine. So I think it's important for teenagers to realize that what you're feeling is real, that your stress is real and that you need to hold space for that and address it. And the thing about being a teenager is there is so much stress that you have no control over. No control over whatsoever. You cannot choose where you were born, who you were born to, who your parents are, what your parents do, what choices your parents make, what school you go to. And these are really big things when you become a teenager. Like, remember 2 weeks ago, we talked about how the brain develops the prefrontal cortex, but your limbic system isn't there yet, and you've got hormones raging all over. So you've got all this stuff going on in your brain, and then you throw this stress upon it as well. So we're going to get into that a little bit too. The other thing about stress is you can have acute stress or you can have long-term stress. So something about short-term stress would be an exam, getting ready for an exam. That can be very stressful. Choosing, depending on where you are and how old you are, choosing a college, or if you're good at a sport, choosing to play the sport, or if you just love a sport and going out for the team and whether or not you're going to make it or not make it. It's stressful to get those big assignments done. It's stressful if your friends are doing something, but you don't agree with it and how they're going to perceive you. That's all acute stress, like the one-time thing, like it's going to happen. There's also chronic stress. So this could be more of just school in general, not just a test, but like your quarter grade and all that pressure to, get the good marks the whole way through, or knowing you struggle in a class and knowing you need that class for graduation. So that could also be stressful. And then sometimes health issues can be like chronically stressful, or things like that maybe you, and again, I strongly believe that this should not be anyone's problem, but sometimes you have food insecurity at home. I had no idea when I was in high school or others, younger, how many people I went to school with every day, who I went to class with, who I went to lunch with, who I was on sports teams with, who I went to dance class with. I had no idea what their family life was, if their parents fought, if they were abused, if they had a bed to sleep in every night, if they had enough food. And this is real for teens. And that can be a long-term chronic stress. So basically, stress is you have these outward stresses, and it's how your body responds. It's a natural reaction to how your body responds. So you might have heard of like fight or flight, and that's one way your body deals with stress. We're going to get into a little bit more, but again, stressors for teens, I think I hit them all. But the big ones are school and social pressure, relationships, whether it's friendships or romantic relationships, which I will tell you, as someone who's no longer a teen, this will carry on throughout your life. Big one here, body image issues can be very stressful. And then major life events, like things you have no control over, or I hope this never happens to you, but if you lose a parent or a loved one, or you're in an accident, and those can also be stressors. And then there's the fun ones like we talked about, like sports. Like, it's a good stressor because you like to play. Performing to a certain level could be really stressful. I just chaperoned prom. No, I'm not a teacher. My boyfriend is. But I just chaperoned prom. Prom is a wonderful, beautiful thing, but it can be very stressful. How you feel in what you're wearing, if you're being cool enough, if you're being like, for the boys, if you're like bro enough, if you're cool enough, like how you treat your girl, the girl body image issues. Is she wearing the right dress? Is there enough money to pay for all of this? Like, where do you go to dinner? How do you get there? There's I can't say I watch a lot of young rom-coms now, but like when I was growing up, there was always pressure of like prom night. Um, like, like if you're gonna hook up with the guy or not, pressures to do that, pressures for prom, alcohol. Are you drinking? Are you not drinking? You know you're not supposed to. We already talked about how it's not good for your brain. So that's all very stressful. So when you're coming to stress, like what happens? Your heart rate is going to start increasing. Your breathing rate is going to speed up. Your muscles might get tense. And for sometimes in your teens, but also like, oh, guess I won't do that. Also, like when you get older, women in particulars, as you get older, hold a lot of tension up here. So you can get muscle spasms, which can then cause headaches. Um, your that fight or flight, that adrenaline gets increased. Cortisol levels can go up. You can start to feel, I hate this about myself and I can't change it. When I lecture, when I give talks, which I have not done in a while, but when I give talks, and I've technically done international because I was on this school thing when I was doing my doctorate. So I technically had to do a talk in Ireland, a presentation. When I used to teach, but it was different when I was teaching because I think it's because I had a purpose. But even now, like when I'm presenting something or amongst my peers, I turn bright red. I don't think I feel nervous, but my body tells me like, you're so nervous, like I'm going to turn beet red and your hands are going to get like, and feet are going to get super sweaty. I don't get underarm sweat, which I'm thankful for, but I'm going to turn beet red and I'm going to get sweaty. And that's your body's reaction to stress. And yeah. So when this happens, like in the moment, what are you feeling? Like this could be anxiety. This could lead to like anxiety responses, how your body responds involuntarily. And then you need to control voluntary. How are you going to control that anxiety, that situation? I was told I could take medication. I tried taking medicine once and it didn't work for me. And then another time, one of my physician friends told me I could take a different medication. It's not for anxiety, but it helps with to help with the flushing. So I wouldn't, but I never tried that. I just deal with it. Like it's gonna happen. I'm gonna be like my body is gonna say like this girl's nervous, and it just is what it is. Short term, again, that tension, you can get the headaches, and in the moment, you can get like really irritable. So, have you ever noticed like someone's like really short with you, whether it's an adult or a peer? They get really short with you, and you know you didn't do anything, but they like snap at you. And that could be their body's response to stress, and they're just not dealing with it well. Problem is, long term, this can really affect your body physically, and you can get sleep problems, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, how important sleep is. So, if you're not getting enough sleep, everything is going to get worse. You can get a weakened immune system. So, if you're constantly under stress, you can you're more vulnerable to have illnesses. So, that is something to keep in mind, especially if you're already prone, if you have a pre-existing condition, as we call it, or if you're in um, like high flu season or something, and then your stress levels are up, and then your immunity is weakened, and now it's just not a good look, I guess. And then also like long term, you can the risk of hypertension. Um, even diabetes, and your body, like your hormones are going to get thrown off, and you can have some serious like long-term problems. And in the ER, we see people come in often, and in this other podcast of conversations, we talked about this when my colleagues and I talked about what stress and anxiety look like in the ER. And usually people get like legitimate chest pain. They can have legitimate chest pain, shortness of breath, impending doom. That's like feeling like you're going to die. And of course, we work them up and make sure it's nothing life threatening. But a lot of times it can be related to anxiety that has been caused by stress over time. So it's really important that when, even as a teenager, because you have a lot of stress, especially in your freshman year is trying to fit into a new school. Your sophomore year, you kind of finally made it, but now you kind of want to establish not being a freshman, but you're not an upperclassman yet. Junior, you're an upperclassman, but you're not a senior. And then a senior is supposed to, in the movies, it tells us how glamorous this is and glorious. But you have some really big decisions to make, and your brain isn't developed yet. Remember, we talked about it. Your brain isn't there yet, but you're supposed to make all of these essential life paving decisions. What are you going to do when you, and no one's making them for you. So you've been in kindergarten through high school, through senior year, and you knew that you were going to school Monday through Friday, whatever your hours are, 7:38 to 3 p.m. You knew that. You knew that if you played a sport, you were going to show up to practice at this time, and someone told you what to do. You knew that you would have an assignment in class, do the assignment, you may or may not have homework, and you'd have a test. You knew all this. But now you have to decide on your own what you're going to do next. And that's a whole lot of pressure and could cause a whole lot of stress. And like we were saying before, like, stress isn't necessarily always bad because stress can help motivate you. So if you really want to do well on the test, oh no, I really messed up my notes here. If you really want to do well on a test and you have a test in the morning, it's going to motivate you to do good. The bad part is you might stay up later than you should studying. Don't recommend. 10 out of 10 don't recommend. Also 10 out of 10 guilty. It can really, when there's a deadline, people like me, I was late in life diagnosed with ADHD, but it tracks for my entire life that I can remember. I could hyper focus on something. I'm very visual, et cetera, et cetera. So can these deadlines and that pressure to perform really helps me focus. I would know that there was a paper due on Friday. I would know that for like a month, and I would do it Thursday night, and I would knock it out of the park. 10 out of 10 don't recommend, but that stress of having to do well and getting that assignment done, that deadline, can really help you focus. But again, too much stress can be harmful. So you need to call it something, right? So you notice that your heart starts racing every time before you take a test. Maybe that stress of the test is causing you to have test anxiety. I know when I have to give a lecture, I'm going to be, whether I want to call it anxiety or not, I know it's going to happen to me. So call it something. There's no shame in it. Everyone has it at some level. Some people have poor coping mechanisms, and those are the ones who you think aren't stressed out, and they have that bigger than life attitude, and they just blow everything off, and it's no big deal. They're stressed. They have something else going on. You might not know it, but they have stress going on. And when your body is stressed out and it feels like it's under threat, you go into survival mode. So it's like we were talking, the cortisol and your stress hormones, that fight or flight response, your nervous system. And again, specifically as a teen, that prefrontal cortex, not developed yet, that limbic system and all those hormones. So how does it present? The big thing with teens is that some people think that stress is shutting down. You don't necessarily, or being sad, but that's not always how it can present. Um, Sometimes it can be shutting down like that, where you don't want to talk to people, you blow people off, you're curt, or you can see this in other people. Um, you can get really angry or see other people getting really angry. Procrastination, 10 out of 10, don't recommend it. Not good for you. Sleeping too much or not sleeping enough. People with sleep problems. Like it goes both ways, which is unfortunate. Too much stress, you have trouble sleeping, or too much stress, all you want to do is sleep. You don't feel like getting out of bed. You start pulling away from people because you don't want to have them see you the way you are. And I think a lot of times as adults too, but specifically teens, adults, we start to know better. But specifically as teens, we feel like we're the only one going through it. Everyone has something that they're stressed out about. Everyone has something. There's something that causes stress in everyone's life. Um, so keep that in mind. Like those irritated people, the people who like pull away, the kid that sits in the back of the class and doesn't talk to anyone, pulls the hoodie up. Something's going on in their life that's causing them a lot of stress. So in the adult world, I don't know. I don't remember this as a teen. I do remember this: treat others as you want to be treated, or do unto others as you would want to do to you. And that's huge. Um, Everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes. There's some very evil, horrible people out there, yes, but you can't focus on them. So give people grace, give yourself grace. We're all just human and trying to make it. Um, yeah. So if someone is acting out, if someone is being mean to you, this is particularly with teens, but it also happens in adulthood. If someone is over the top, rude, crude, making fun of you, it's not a you problem. It's a them problem. They have something going on. So no, it's not okay. It does not excuse their bad behavior towards you, but it might explain why they are the way they are. Um, so also this talk, I did have questions on it, so they're going to start popping up a little bit more now. So when it gets too much, first of all, what do you do when you feel stressed out? You got to give yourself a timeout, give yourself some grace. Unfortunately, we're backwards, but I will post these, I promise. But there's some really big things up here that everyone, teens, adults, everyone should know. What happens when it turns into something bigger? Oh, wait, let's back up. Coping. How do you cope? Alcohol and drugs are not the answer. As someone who works emergency medicine, I can tell you that people who work emergency medicine are notorious bad copers. Our job is immensely difficult, and we have yet to just say, like, time out, this isn't okay. And so we just keep pushing and pushing. Some of us are fighting for change, but we are where we are. So how do you cope? Drugs and alcohol, not the answer. And no, that's not the 1980s. Don't do drugs. It's not good. You're already in a state, you're already vulnerable. As a teenager, we talked about your brain developing. Drugs and alcohol are not the way to do it. Just not. Like that escapism, not the way to go. I would say first level is deep breathing. And some of these are going to sound completely corny. They're so corny. It's something called box breathing, where you inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and relax for a count of 4. No one can tell you're doing it. So if you have like test anxiety, you can do some box breathing, 4, 4, 4, 4. And it helps to center yourself. That's something you can do quietly on your own in the moment. People who meditate, who have prayer, that helps them too. Finding that space and centering yourself on a not in the exact moment, but things you can do before or after an event. Journaling, huge. I had so many journals. I wrote poetry, believe it or not. There, you just learned something about me that people don't know. One day, maybe I'll tell you what happened to those journals. So journaling is really good. People say talk to your friend. Yes, talk to your friends, but not everyone has that person they trust or feel they can be vulnerable with. In the in that event, like, I get it. It's hard to talk to people. Um, it's hard to talk to a friend, but that's why you also have guidance counselors or school counselors or teachers, or you express something to a teacher, something that's going on at home, something that's going on with a friend, something you're really worried about. They can help you through it. Teachers go through all kinds of education and training that you're not going to be the first one to show up in their classroom saying, "Hey, can I talk to you about something?" And if they don't know how to help you through it, they can bring you to a guidance counselor or the school psychologist, um, and see what makes the best plan for you. The beauty of schools is that their number one priority, and especially if the people working there, the number one priority is you as the student, and you as a person and you as a teenager. So you always have that. Um, Physical activity is really good with helping with stress. And you may say, like, I don't like sports. Guess what? Not everyone does. That doesn't mean physical activity you have to do a sport. I know so many people who never grew up playing sports that go to the gym, take water aerobics classes, do aerobic, like land aerobics, step aerobics, weightlifting classes, dance classes that aren't like serious dance classes, like you're not committing your entire life to them, but like at the gym. Um, a lot of schools have tracks, like walking the track. If your neighborhood is safe, you can walk your neighborhood. The weather is getting better. I mean, the weather's beautiful, honestly, right now. You can walk outside if it's safe for you. There's a lot of things you can do that aren't sports. And then there's some silly sports out there, like that you can play that no one's good at. You can get on, like, look up and see if there's like a dodgeball team or something. Like, these are the silly things that anyone can do. So being physically active is really important with helping to maintain your stress. Um, what do you do when those things aren't working? When you feel like you're in a bad way, you feel hopeless, you're more than sad, you can't control your emotions, you're crying all the time, you know you're not acting yourself, you're not sleeping, you're sleeping too much. Tell somebody. It's totally okay to tell someone. We want you to tell someone. Tell someone. You're not the first, you're not going to be the last. Everyone has something, I promise you. Tell someone. Um, and you know what? If it's because some boy broke your heart, tell someone. Talk it out. Breakups suck. Doesn't matter how old you are, they suck. No matter if you need to break up and you should break up or you didn't want to, they're horrible to go through. So it doesn't need to be some life crisis. You don't need to compare your stress to someone else's. Like, go talk to someone about that. Um, if you're not doing well on tests, but you don't know why, go talk to someone about that. And again, in school, those teachers that you have, the counselors, they are there for you. Adults want to help more than you think. We all were teens at one point, believe it or not. We may be old and have like sparkles, also known as gray hair, and you know, laugh lines showing up, but we were all teens once. And we still all have a bunch of stress that we don't cope well with and should do better. So we get it, more than you think. And if it even gets deeper than that, what if you feel like hurting yourself? As an ER person working emergency medicine, it is heartbreaking. Even us older, cynical, cold hearted um, people who've been in emergency medicine for a long time and have seen a lot. Every teenager or kid, even young adults that come in overwhelmed with stress, with anxiety, with substance abuse, with self harm, intent, or actually did something, it is absolutely heartbreaking. It is absolutely heartbreaking. And I want you to know that there's so many adults that are good, and there are so many adults that want to help you. But I also will say this, and this might be controversial, and people might blow up my email and tell me I shouldn't say these things. But a lot of times, what we see in the ER is because adults have failed you as teenagers and as children. And I'm telling you that it is not your fault in those messy, messy, messy places. It's not your fault. You didn't deserve it. No one deserves it. Um, you should have never have to know what that feels like. Unfortunately, people do, teens do. And for the most part, it's because adults failed you. And that's really heartbreaking as an absolute human, or as a human being. Like it's horrible. And usually the reason adults fail children and teens is because they too were failed. And it's a vicious, vicious cycle. I just want you to know that it is not your fault. If you are sad, if you can't control what you're feeling, you can't cope with it, you need to tell someone. You don't have to wait till it gets to the point of wanting to hurt yourself. You need to tell someone, whether it's a trusted friend, an adult. And then I also put these up here. You can dial 988 or go to 988lifeline.org. This is substance abuse, mental health, something advocacy. You can get a bunch of information from this organization online, which also to call 988. Again, school counselor. And this is something I don't think people think about. You can call your pediatrician. You can make an appointment with your pediatrician or school nurse, and your school nurse can point you in the right direction, or your primary care, whether you have family medicine or a pediatrician. They can help you. Mental health is part of health. Stress is part of mental health. How you cope is part of mental health, and that's all part of your health makeup. And we just want you to be healthy. So you can call them, and then if you can think of nothing else, you can always call 911. They'll bring you to the emergency room. We're happy to see you. We can get people talking to you right away. We do it all the time. And also with 911 is they don't just dispatch police or EMS. They actually, in our area, and it's becoming more popular, is they have mental health experts that get dispatched to the scene too. So you get help right away, right away. But just know you're going to be okay. It's most likely not your fault why you feel the way you do. Someone probably let you down in your life, whether you think they did or not, and you're going to be okay. And there's people there to help you, and there's people to help you get through things. And the people as a teenager, those friends that are, remember we talked about how they're, as a teen in developmental psychology, how those are your peers become really important, their opinions of you become really important. Now we have social media that we start comparing ourselves to other people. People are absolute jerks online. Absolute jerks. Those keyboard warriors who all of a sudden think they could be mean. I'm not allowed to say fuck them, but fuck them. They've got other issues that are not your problem. I know it's hard to not listen to them. And it's easy to say, like, oh, just don't listen. It hurts. It hurts when people are mean. Even as an adult, it hurts. But block them. Move on. Tell someone about it. And if it's someone that is bullying you, I don't even like the word bully. I feel like it kind of took off in the wrong way. But if you have someone in your school, like one of your peers, that is being really ugly to you and being hurtful and mean and just an absolute jerk, you need to report it. Not only to your school, but if you trust your parents to do it, them or counselor, you need to report that. Because not only are they being jerks and It's just not nice and it's not kind, and it can hurt you mentally and emotionally, but it's probably illegal what they're doing. Probably illegal. And you need to report that to somebody. Um, and then if you do tell someone, like, what's going to happen? People are going to help you. That's what's going to happen. And I think people worry about what goes on the record. And your mental health records, particular, like specifically, but also your health records are confidential. Like people, they're confidential unless there's some legality or something, and people need to see them. Like for a car accident or something, they're confidential. So go see a health professional, and get help if you need to. This 15-year-old boy, heartbreaking. This was semi-recent. His His mom gave up parental rights and it crushed him. And he was acting out. He was acting out. But you could see he was a good kid, like he was a good person. But an adult failed him. And he needed some serious help. And so we convinced him that getting admitted to the hospital was the best thing for him. It's safe, it's warm. You get the help that you need, and then you go about living a good life. So get the help you need. It's not punishment. If someone talks to you, if you come into the emergency room, someone talks to you and they give you a plan that they feel like you need to have a therapist every week, it's not punishment. If they feel like you'd be better off inpatient, it's not punishment. It's there to help you. And take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Because stress doesn't go away when you get older. So you need to start learning to cope with it and do what you can. And if an adult failed you, I am really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I know I forgot something. Oh, what if you think so? There was a question like, what if you think you have a disorder? What if you think you have anxiety disorder? I will tell you, like when I started nursing school, rule number one is don't diagnose yourself. Don't diagnose yourself. Because you don't know. You're not the expert. When I got diagnosed with ADHD, I had to do a bunch of like literal testing. I had to sit there for hours and do testing based on some other symptoms too. So, yeah, don't try to diagnose yourself. But this is when you go to your pediatrician or your family medicine doctor or provider, whoever you see, and tell them, like, this is what's going on. And I saw this, like, I read up on this, and I'm concerned that I have it. What they should say, they should not blow you off. And they should say, let's get further testing or let's look into this. And there's other causes. There are physical causes that you can be having symptoms too. So, like sleepiness, maybe your blood counts are really low and you're tired all the time. I don't know. There's all different reasons. So, your primary care, your pediatrician, they can do all that for you. Um, but don't diagnose yourself. Oh, here's a big one with teenagers. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot this one. A big thing with stress is that um, eating and body image issues and wanting to look a certain way and having control issues. Like as a teenager, you don't have a lot of control over anything, really. And if like you shouldn't though, like you should still be living your life as a kid and someone should be providing for you. And I am going to tell you right now that is not the case in a lot of households and situations. And again, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that if your adults, your grown-ups in your life aren't providing for you. That's not fair. And I don't know how to fix it. And I am so sorry. But when you feel like things are spiraling and you have no control and people want you to do this and you have to wear that and you got to look this way, you got to go to this school, you have to pass this, you need this on your SAT. Not necessarily intentionally, but teens can develop, particularly girls, but also boys, especially boys in um, sports like wrestling, football, dance, where you have to make a certain weight, um, eating disorders can develop. And eating disorders are physically terrible on your body, but it's not, you can't just tell someone, oh, you just have to go eat something. It's much more deeper than that. It's much more complex. But if you notice your friend like controlling what they eat, you can, they might not recognize that they're doing it, or heartbreaking, but if they're vomiting after they eat, or if they're not eating and God forbid they, you know, just want to drink a lot, um, you need to tell someone. Express your concern to your friend, and you need to tell someone. And if your friend threatens they're not going to be friends with you anymore, would you rather them be mad at you, or would you rather them be dead? I know that's a lot to put on someone, but you need to tell someone. What else we got? Um, I think adults, we need to do better. And I'm sorry when the adults fail you. But I cannot stress enough, you're okay. You're going to be okay. And people are there to help you. If people are threatening you, hurting you, not providing for you, you need to tell someone. There's adults out there to help you. There's programs to help you. Someone should be helping you. If any of your friends, you can tell they're spiraling, or they start joking about hurting themselves, or you see them looking things up online, or you see they start getting obsessed with like really skinny people, or they say to you, I don't want to be here anymore. Um, when it gets to that level, you need to address it. My suggestion is you first address it with them, support them as their friend, and offer to go with them to speak to someone. If they don't want to do it, you might have to speak on their behalf to someone that you trust. Whether again, it's a parent, a counselor, your doctor, I don't know, a teacher. Um, but there's real help out there. And being a teen is overwhelmingly difficult, very difficult and stressful. People are mean and say hurtful things, and you have to pass tests, and you sometimes are responsible for little brothers and sisters. Sometimes you don't have food on the table. It's really stressful. And there's people who can help you. It's not your fault what the people do around you, but you can get help to better yourself in your life. And when people tell you, well, just be positive, it's all right, just be positive. Don't be rude to them, but just like, thank you, and move on, because it's hard. Stress can become overwhelming. Something that is not a big deal can build and build and build, or you get multiple things coming in at you, and it's very difficult. Um, you don't need to do it alone. We don't want you to do it alone. You've got a whole building of people who are there to help you. You've got trusted adults. You've got medical professionals. Like, there's people to help you. There's people to help you. If you have a part-time job, I really hope that also can be stressful. If your family's not doing financially well and you have to help pay the bills, like, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. I get it. I totally get it. Um, but you need to start talking to people. Start talking to the people you trust, and figure out how you can decrease your personal stress with what you can do, um, and get help and reach out. It doesn't have to be the huge worst case scenario to reach out. No one wants you to wait to that point. We'd rather you talk now. And a lot of times teens carry really heavy things because they don't want to be judged. They think they're alone. They don't want to get in trouble. You're not going to get in trouble for being stressed out. If you do something, there will be consequence. Like if you do something that's illegal or just not right or not kind, like there's going to be consequences. There's good and positive consequences, and there's bad and negative consequences for everything we do. But it's not the end of the world. I promise you, it's not the end of the world. Failing a test, going through a breakup, having a fight with your best friend, um, not making the grade, not getting into your dream school, not making the team, playing really poorly during a game, um, not making as much money as you thought you would bring home. Like, it's hard. No one's saying it's not hard, but we all mess up. It's not the end of the world. As someone who does emergency, we always say, unless it's fatal, it's no big deal. People don't just like when don't get how laid back I am and how I'm just like, it's okay because things can be fixed. Things can be fixed. So ask for help. You're not weak. You're not in trouble. Don't compare your stress to someone else's. Everyone is different. You have no idea what people are going through. No idea. So that's that on stress. It's a lot. It's heavy. It's real. It can manifest physically. It can have long-term health consequences on you. So that's where we're going to leave it today. I will add those numbers, hopefully, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in 2 weeks, same time, same place. Please reach out if you need help. And the mean girls, there's always going to be mean girls. I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm sorry they're mean. But they're not it. They're not it. All right. Have a great night. I will see you in a couple weeks.